Welcome viewers. Just today I am going to start from the stanza fifth based upon the television poem. Just I will go through this. Then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks, the screams and the yells and the bites and kicks, and the children hitting you with sticks. So fear not, because we promise you, and that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they will now begin to feel the need or having something to read. So here means the poet has admired and giving in supports the tone and the supportness he has given, which is added to the didactic element of the poem. So, how he has become so delightful and cheerful and also joyful towards installing a lovely bookshelves at your homes. So that is his support. That is the tone of the poem, and with which he associates, means the poet is associated with the delightfulness, joy, happy, cheerfulness, when he has suggested for installing a bookshelf that is at your house. So here is given. Then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks. Dirty looks means that is protest, demonstration. Means then fill the shelves with lots of books. The poet has advised or given his suggestions to the parents of the younger children just to fill the shelves with lots of books. Means at your home you should fulfill that shelves with lots of books, different varieties of books. Just you should fill with just in your bookshelves different varieties of books, and ignoring all the dirty looks. Dirty looks means protest, anger, negativity, cruelty that will come in form of the minds of the mindsets of the young children. That is ignoring. Means the poet has given his suggestions. The poet has outrightly just given his statement to the parents of the younger children. You should ignore it. Anyhow, you have to ignore the anger of the children. You have to ignore the protest of the children. And you have to ignore the demonstration of the children in order to establish or in order to install the bookshelves at your house. Anyhow, we have to adjust with that. We have to ignore the protest that is from your children, because that will naturally the protest will be from their side, because they are keeping a distance from the television sets which they used to have just habitual to that customary habits, because they will take a long period of time to be acquainted with that. So means if one is going to be disintegrated, disconnected from one habitual habits, the customary habits, then naturally there will be anger. Naturally they will be protesting about in different ways, different manners, different forms. So anyhow, we have to keep control or ignore those angers from the children's sides. So that is the screams and yells and bites and also kicks, and the children hitting you with sticks. Screams and yells, it is a very loud and sharp sounds that is so painful, so emotional sounds will they will just come from the children's side because they will just to substantial amount they will just demonstrate such type of protests, making very sharp, loud, long, unpleasant sounds they will make at your home because they are going to making a distance from their as usual watching the television set. So that's why. And also bites and kicks. And they will also, I think the poet has a exaggerated, means given some, that is added some extra flavors into that considerable amount. So means the children hitting with sticks. So I think in Indian subcontinent, I think in the Indian climate it is not possible because how can the children just might hitting the parents? So it is not possible in case of India. So I think just if overseas countries that's also they might injure such kind of that is called the nuisance activities. But it may not possible in case of India. Actually just I think about this. So and also fear not because we promise you. Fear not. Here the poet has given his suggestions and he is also that's the advices to the parents. You must not be fearful that such type of cruelty, angerness, demonstrations, protestants just would blow down from the children's side. But you should be daringly to face to that. Protests will come from their side. So fear not, don't fear about that. That will naturally occur. That will naturally happen. But anyhow, we have to face that challenge. We have to face that, the protests, but peacefully we have to solve that. And because of we promise you, because the poet has told us, yes, we have to keep a promise ourselves. And how should just to make such practice? And how should provide our children just with such practices, not watching the television sets? Then how should make a distance from the watching the television sets? So anyhow, we must develop a promise in our hearts. Then we can keep the children away from the watching the television sets. So that's in about a week or two. It may take way weaker or that may be 1 week or maybe 2 weeks or having nothing else to do. The children will nothing more will do in any kinds of affairs or must not do just worried about anything. But having, so they will now begin to feel the need and are having something to read. So gradually they will get used to that practice. And also systematically they will be habitual in the long run of life, in the long period of time. Then they will be getting to their practice. Then they will feel the essentiality, the importance of practicing or reading the books just at the home and not going after that is called the monster or the idiotic television sets. So I think the poet has just given his optimistic views about this. Means anyhow the children might develop their practice towards their substantial studies. After that also they will be just make a common drilling of practice which will be invoking their minds. So now it is my the last stanza, stanza 6. And once they start, oh boy, it is quite wonderful. Astonishment, surprisingly, it has been just told about. You watch and slowly growing joy that fills their hearts, and they will grow so keen. Because once they start, why will slowly growing by, and because their hearts will be filled up with the true joyful, true delightfulness, true happiness, true picture of the positivity will come to their minds. Then after they practice or inculcate such happy habits in their minds, they will cultivate this kind of habits in their minds. Then after some period of time, after some days, they will be acquainted with such kind of good practices and slowly growing joy, and they will feel cheerfulness, happiness, delightfulness, feeling jolly well about reading the books. And they will wonder then what they had ever seen in that ridiculous machine. Ridiculous machines. It is a monster television set, that is idiotic box. So they will wonder. Then the children start wondering. Then why they had been then they themselves indulge in such kind of ridiculous things they had been watching just forever, so many periods of times, in the long period of times, that is meaninglessly, that is unpurposefully they were watching, that is, and also means they are spending lots of times, just valuable time, precious times, going after watching the television sets. So it is so ridiculous. Then they start heading towards the watching such ridiculous box, the idiotic box, because afterwards they will be just ceremoniously and spontaneously get attached with that. So and it is repulsive television set. Repulsive means it is just a reject, aversion, means you keep away from that. Repulsive television means they will no more keep their interest in watching the television set, because it is the passive creator in the minds of the children, because we are not actively, even though we are actively watching the television set, but we are receiving it passively, because it makes passive and also dull of the children's mind, jump the minds of the children. It will just freezes, that is called roast the minds of the children. So that is, so it is another thing, that is also that the roasting, foul, unclean, and different just negative forms words are being used. Means it is the, that is called the poet's angerness is expressed here. Angerness, that is called the sarcastic views, angerness, hatred, and that is called disliking, just a terrific disliking for the that is nothing, vomiting, and also it is foul, very, that is called bad or very bad smelling, that is called, and also unclean, not clean at all. So how it is thus kind of negative words have been used, because it is treated as the negative forms. The poet has evoked his disliking toward the television sets and given his also opinions and views and just not watching the television sets. So that's why it is been used in the negativity forms such as vomiting जैसे करते हैं, vomiting, oh so unpleasant atmosphere, that is so irritating, and just we get away from that. So that is very bad also feeling. Our just senses will be fell apart from that, just going away from that. And also full, nasty spilling means our senses very naturally will be divergent from that, because nobody will smell no more to that. And unclean, that is not clean. So and latter, and just each and every kid will love you more and for what you did. So that is, so afterwards the poet just here to determine, and the poet is just more expectant about this, more hopeful about this. Sooner or later the children will accept or get used to the habitual reading of the books in long run of their life. It will take some time, but latter part of the time they will think what they used to see, the monstrous, that is called the idiotic box, spending quite also lots of that is called the valuable times, that is worthy times they are spending. They will realize their mistakes and they will realize their consequences, the outcomes of watching what they got at last. So that last they will drive to the driver's seat, that is called pull your socks upwards, and they will be get determination in their heart, and they will be get positivity and striking towards the glory of reading the books at last. So maybe sooner or later, and they will start loving their parent at last, because then who has subscribed their parents, then who has just introduced their children to such habits, their parents, they have introduced their children to such habits. That's why now they are the regular customers, not irregular customers, regular customers just of watching, not the television set, and regular customer of reading the books at their homes different varieties of books. At last, anyhow, they will choose any type of books they will go through and they find their liking or that is favorable for them, then they will go after them. Otherwise, it is a very testing attitude of the poet, liking attitude, supportive attitude of the poet. So it is the earnest prayer, a request of the poet towards the parents of the younger children. That's why to install that is called a lovely bookshelf at every houses. Then at last the children will be just reading around, get practiced with that of the habitual reading of the books. Then they will realize the importance, vital importance of that, the glory of that, and the needful of that. How substantially they have come to such a peak zenith points. So that's why today I have completed this chapter. Have a good day and bye bye to all.